Hello there, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to discuss module, and a module is simply a Python file dot .py at the end of the name containing functions, variables, and classes. Modules let you organize and reuse code across projects. Python comes with a rich standard library of built-in modules, and you can also create your own. Every .py file you create is automatically a module. You import it with import file name without .py. Functions and variables inside become accessible via dot notation. Now let me just give you a quick example. Now let's create a new project, and let's just quickly create a Python module. Okay, now let's create a Python file, and let me just name it math, and you can just call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, now this is my module. I got two modules, main.py and math.py. These are my two modules. Now in the math.py module, I'm going to define a function. Let me just define a function, addition, and let me just insert two numbers, a and b. Don't forget to put the colon, and then return a plus b. Okay, now let me just define another function called multiply, and let me just insert the number there and just return a static b. And now also let me, you can see that so many options automatically pop up when you are using PyCharm. You can also use Google Colab, you can also use Jupyter Notebook, whatever you want to use, it depends on you. Now let me just create a constant phi is equal to, and its value as 3.14159. Okay, let me just enter these numbers. Now this is my module. Okay, I have created a module, and I have another module called main.py. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to import this module to my main.py file. To do that, I'm going to use import, and then I'm gonna write math, and you can see that it automatically appears on the screen, and I import my module. Now in this modules, in the main.py module, I have two functions and I have a constant. I can also, I don't need to write all this stuff again here in the main.py file. It is not needed because I have already imported uh, the math module, and which means that I imported whatever was here in the math module. Now let me show you the magic. The magic is simple and straightforward. Let's just create a result. Okay, let's say that result. And don't forget, whatever you want to import from the module, you have to write the name of the module. So the name of the module is math slash utilities or something. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but I name it that way. And I know that you should put the dot here, and dot will connect whatever is there in the module. Now if I'm going to call the function add, I have to add. Okay, I can just get whatever I want by simply adding the function name. Now since there were a and b, okay, and if I just assign values to a and b, and now if I friend if I print the result, let me just print the result, then what will happen? What is 5 plus 3? 5 plus 3 is 8. Now if I run it, you could see that I get 8 here. Now we see that the output is 8, and it is given here, you could see. So we import the module, and from the module we import the function called add. Now let me just give you another example. Print, okay, and here add the name of the module. Now if I want to import the value of the pi, I can also do that. Then you could see that the value of the pi is 3.1459. While I'm not writing it here in the main file, I'm not doing that. It is already written in the math file, in the math module. What I'm doing is I'm just using the module. I have already imported the module. Now I'm just connecting the dots. I'm doing nothing else. And you could see the output is 3.14159. Now let me just do one last thing. Let me do the multiplication, and for that I have to call my module, and then I have to call the function multiply. And when I do that, you could see that multiply what? I have to insert the numbers, two numbers. Let's suppose I add 4 6. So what will be the output? The output will be 24. And let me just put a comma here. Okay, so if I run it, you can see that I get 24. So I hope it is clear and you understood what I tried to convey. Okay, now let's talk about import and from import. Let me just quickly create a new file. Let me just call it new file. Okay, and let's see what we can do here. Python gives you multiple ways to import from a module. You can import the whole module, import specific names, or import everything. Each approach has different trade-offs for readability and namespace management. From module import name lets you use name directly without the module prefix. Using as creates an alias, handy for long module names. Avoid import in large projects as it can cause name collisions. Now let me just give you a quick example. Let me just import a module. You can create your own modules as I created it. In front of you, you could see three modules: main.py, new.py, and main.py. Okay, and in the main.py file, you could see here I imported the module math, and I you know import all the functions variables which were written in the math module. Now here let's learn something new. Now let me just import the module math. Okay, this is a module, and what does it mean? It means import whole module. Okay, and whatever as in this module are imported. And let me just print. Okay, and let me just use, you should always use the name of the module. So the name of the module is math here. Okay, and let's say that you want to find the square root of 25. Okay, sqrt, and just insert the number. And now let me just end the comment. Must use math dot prefix. Don't forget to use the name of the module that you have imported. If you don't use the name of the module and you don't put the dot, it will not work. Okay, it will collapse. So you could see that the square root of 25 is 5, and from here I imported the square root. I imported it from the math module. Now if I want to import specific names, then what should I do? From, then I'm going to use the word from math module import square root 5. Okay, and what does it mean? You can import as many names, as many functions, as many variables as you want to. It depends on your needs. It depends on the context and the problem. Import specific names. And now when you import the specific names, then you don't have to use the name of the module. You don't have to use math now because you have already import the names of the functions, the constants, whatever you call it. So you have to use the names, not the name of the module when you import the names. Okay. So instead of using friend math dot square root, you are going to use now just square root, sqrt, and let's say, let me just write 36. Okay, now if I run it, you could see that I could see square root of 36. And you shouldn't use math dot square root here because you have already imported the names now, because that is not needed. Okay, if you import the names, then you should use just the names and simplify things for yourself, not just create extra things. Okay, and if you want to import phi, then you just have to use print, and you just have to insert phi and just run it. You could see that 34144, the value of the file has been imported. Now there are other important things that you need to remember, and when you import the names you should remember one thing, that uh, no prefix needed. No prefix needed. Sometimes you just want to simplify things for yourself, like there might be function names and other things, constant names, which may be lengthy, so you can use a shortcut for that. And let me just explain it to you, and it's really helpful. Now if I want to import the module numpy, then I can use np, which is shortcut. But if I don't use as, then I have to write numpy, the complete name of the module. Okay, so if I don't want to use numpy all the time, then simply I just have to use np, and I represented it as np. So instead of using in numpy, then I have to use just np. And let me just add a comment here, common, and alias pattern. Okay, so now let me just write a variable. Okay, and np dot array, and let me just print it, or let me just write something in it. Okay, some array one, let's say 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now if I want to print it, print, let's see what happens. And if you just print it, okay, you could see that it says that I have installed the package, so I'm going to install the package. And to do that, I have to come here to Python packages, and I have to search numpy, and here I have to install my packages. Okay, this is just for your understanding. Okay, I installed the package, and I have to also correct this mistake. This is array, so it was just a typing mistake. Now I have to run it, and you could see that my output is 1, 2, 3. So instead of using the whole name of the module, I am using np. Okay, one more thing that I want to teach you is that if you want to import from math, okay, math is module, and from math I want to import everything, every uh, every function, every constant, everything. Then you just have to use the flow, static, the static import everything for you. Okay, now instead of using math dot, you'll just have to use the name of the function, the name of the class, the name of whatever you need. So just let me just use the flow. Uh, let me just use print, and let's use flow, and 349. So let's see what happens, and you can see you will get 3 here. You can also use square root here instead of writing from. Let me just show you. Instead of just math dot square root, from math import square root pi. Okay, you just have to write square root. Here we have written square root in pi, but if you use static, you don't have to import square root pi, all those sort of things. All just uh, import it from the module. So import everything, but you just have to avoid it because it is not that helpful. However, sometimes you may need it. Works, it does work, but the problem is fruits namespace. So I think that's enough for this video. See you in the next. Now let's create our own module. Building your own module is as simple as saving a Python file, and we already built a couple of modules. You can export functions, classes, constants, and even nested modules. Good module design means a single responsibility and a clean public API. So let's run and let's make our module. So I'm going to create a module, my module. Okay, and let me just create a new one for you quickly. A good module has, a comment, and the comment is what is the module about. So let me just add the dot strings, and here you could just add what the module is about. So let me just say module for creating utilities. Okay, so let me just change the name of the module so it gets clear what the module is about. You have to be professional. Okay, so just let me just rename it, and let me just call it greet.py. So this is our fourth module. All you can see in front of you is module. Any file with py is a module. Okay, now let me just define a constant. Okay, a universal constant, a fixed value. So fixed value is usually written in capital letters. So let me just default language as English. Okay, or default languages, let's suppose English. Okay, and now let me define a function called hello, and let me just insert arguments, name, and let's say language is, let's suppose, or default language. Okay, now after defining my function, now let me define a dictionary, and you need to be familiar with dictionary. A dictionary is a key and a value. So let me just define a dictionary, greetings, and let me just add some keys. Let's suppose English. Okay, so, and let me just say that the value is f string and hello and or name. Okay, don't forget to use the quotation correctly. One wrong moment, one wrong alphabet, spelling mistake, if you forget the comma, then you're going to get an error. Now let me just come to the another language, Spanish. Spanish, and let me just call it f string, and in Spanish hello is written as hola. Let's just insert the name, and okay, don't forget to put your comma, because if you forget it, then it's likely you get an error. So don't forget to put in a comma. And now let me add another, let's say print and f string and print hello is written as bonjour. I don't know how it is pronounced, but it is written like this. Okay, now let me just write the name. Okay, so what I need to do is return greetings dot get language and f hi name. And what does it mean? That in case the language is not defined there, it's just simply return hey name. Okay, so this is our first function. Now let's define one more function called goodbye. Define goodbye and just add a name. Just return goodbye return goodbye and name. Okay, now let me just teach you something else. You have to remember that I'm gonna type some codes, and this runs only when executed directly, not when imported. So the following lines that I'm going to write will execute only. Okay, this is already written for you. If name is equal to main, then it will run only f print, let's say hello world, and let's say print goodbye world. Okay, so you need to remember that this line will only run when you execute it. You could see that here hello world, goodbye world. Okay, so if when I import the grid.py module into the main file, what will happen? Let me just come to the main file and let's see what happens. Okay, These are the old works, so we're going to ignore it. And now let me just come to the main file, and as I taught you, to import a module, we have to read the name of the you have to write the name of the module. So the name of the module is greet, and you have to put enter. And now I want to print. Okay, I have to write the name of the module, which is greet. Now to put dot, and I have to call the function hello, and I just have to write the name ls. Okay, now if I run it, let's see what happens. You could see that hello ls is displayed here below. Okay, since English is the default language, now let's come here. You could see that hello name. Okay, since we have not included language, we have not called language, so just the default language is this line hello world from the dictionary is taken and displayed. Now if I now let me just now let me print, and let me just go. Okay, print hello, and instead of ls I write the name as Carlos, and I also include the language, which is important, language name. So let's say that if I include language to be Spanish, make sure that the language is defined here. So you have to come here and see. Okay, so we have Spanish here. Now it will look like hello in the name is Carlos, so it will be hola Carlos. But if there is no the language is not defined, then it will automatically be hello in the name, because default language is English. So you need to remember these things. Similarly, you can include as many other languages as you want to. Now let's just come here and let's just enter. Okay, there is a syntax error. Let me fix it. Okay, let me just put bracket here, and you could see that now it is hola Carlos. Okay, now let's try one more thing. Let me just print, and let's say ls, and language. Let me just change the language. What other language do we have? Let's see. We have French, we have, okay, let's try French. So let's try French. Now let's run it and let's see what happens. And you could see that now bonjour ls or something like that is displayed. So we created our own modules, we imported, and there was a dictionary, and there was a function inside a function, a dictionary, and you can create modules like that. It's easy, and it's very important and very beneficial. Sometimes the code is very messy and we don't have that amount of time to to understand the code. So divide it in chunks and divide it in modules, and just do it like that. Now let's talk about packages and init.py. A package is a folder of related modules. The init.py file marks a folder as a Python packages and can expose a clean public interface, hiding implementation details from users of your package. Init.py controls what gets exposed when someone does import my package. You can import from submodules to create a clean top-level API. So users don't need to know the internal file structure. To create a package, you need modules and you need the init.py file. Now let's just quickly create a module. Let's just create a new project. Okay, and let's just create new window. Okay, so it's gonna take some time. Okay, this is project 1, so let me just rename it. Or if you want to rename it, then you have to come here, rename, and rename project. Okay, and you just call it my, yeah, just call it my package. Okay, package. Okay, now let's just create, let me just erase all of it from the main.py file. Okay, now let's just create a module. Okay, and let your first module be init.py. It's very important. Okay, this is the center, the first window. Whenever you import the whole package, all you need to do is place all the modules, important functions imported here, and whenever you import the package, it will automatically just do the work for you. So let's just create it. Okay, and let's just create one more module, and let's just call it utils.py. You can name it whatever you call it, but the most important part is this one, init.py. It must be included. Now let's just create one more module. Let's call it math obs.py. Okay, so now we have 3 modules. Now let's write something here. Okay, let's just define a function. Define format name. You can define whatever you want to define, it depends on you. Okay, format name. Okay, and let's just insert first and last. Okay, don't forget your colon, and then come to the next line and let's just return f string f and first name, first dot title, and last dot title. Okay, so this is, you define a function. Now in the modules math, let's define some function. Let's define add, let's say 2 numbers, add a and b, and return a plus b. Okay, now it allows to define another function, define subtract a and b, and then return and B. Okay, and in main.py you are going to import. Now come to the window, the important part of your coding, which is the init.py. Here you have to import whatever you need, okay, from the utilities.py module, from the main module. Okay, so what I'm included here, you could see that I have included a function format name, and here I have included a function, two function, add and subtract. So let me just, from, this is the structure that you need to borrow. Utilities, okay, import format name, and from dot math import add and subtract. Okay, this is done. You have created the front video, the front init.py is like the front, like you go to a grocery shop and what is displayed on the surface, and from there you have to choose. Okay, you don't have to go inside and deep, look deep inside and see what's going on in the shop, but on the window you could see all the things. Okay, these things are available, so it is like that. So init.py is very important. Now instead of importing one by one utilities.py, main.py as we did in the previous videos, all you have to do is include import the whole package, my package. Okay, now all you need to do is just drag this whole folder into another Python project, or you can just give it a path. Okay, so you have multiple options. You can just provide a path, or you can just drag it, or you just go into the directory and locate the folder where this project is placed, copy there and upload it here. You have plenty of options. So I will just do the dragging, and let's see what happens. So you could see here I have two windows. Okay, one window is this and one window is this. Now I will just drag this whole file from here to here, and you can see that Python project 1 is being imported. So now you could see that the whole folder Python project 1 is being imported here, and you could see that Python project 1 has 4 files, but main.py file is empty, and the most important file is this one. Okay, and whatever is included here are imported from these two modules. You need to understand it. Okay, so instead of just importing utilities.py or math.py, I just created a folder, and this folder is called a package uh, in Python language, because it consists of many modules, and all are just uh, sorted in one module called init.py. So let's come here now and let me show you the magic. Okay, this is the file. So here I will just import my folder. My folder is Python project 1, and you could see, now let me show you, you can see it here. Okay, here we have init.py. This file is very important. Okay, so now it is simple. If you want to just add two numbers, you just have to call the name of the function, python project, and then you just have to add, let's say the two numbers be 2 and 4. Okay, now if you run it, you could see that 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, and you need to understand that this function add must be in the init.py file. Okay, let me show you from here. Okay, init.py. So here you can see that addition has been imported, also subtraction. So you can also do subtraction, and you can also do the format name. So let me just also add friend. Okay, python project, and instead of add, just add subtract. Okay, so let me just do it, and you could see that I get -2. And one last thing that are included in the init.py is format name, which is imported from the utils uh, module. Okay, so let me just also do that. Friend my package, sorry, python project, and let me just use format name, and here let's just add two names, John or something. Okay, John, and one more name that needs to be included, John Doe or something, whatever you want to add. So let me just run it, and you can see that it is John Doe. It is written correctly. The first letter is capitalized because we have used the format sitting here. If you come here to the here, and you could see that from module utils we imported the format name. You can see that we have included the title. So whatever name in which order you add, like capitalize or small alphabets, it will be written. The first name will be written in title form. Okay, you need to understand it. So this is how you can create a package for yourself, and you need to understand that init.py is very important. Okay, now let's talk about standard library modules. Python standard library ships hundreds of modules covering everything from networking to data structures, and these are very important. So let me just quickly create a project named, let's create a new project and new window. Okay, I'm going to rename it, and I'll call it standard library modules. This is my main.py file. Okay, let me just remove it quickly, and let me just import os. Okay, and the OS module lets Python interact with the operating system. Common uses working with files, folders, creating directories, renaming, deleting files, getting environment variables, running system commands, and so on. And now let me just import let me just import all the modules. These are mbuilt, so you don't have to install these modules. Okay, import sys, and I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of all of these when I import all of them. Before import data, datetime deals with time, and let me just import random are just random values, and import, this is very important, import json. It converts Python to JavaScript and JavaScript to Python, something like that. And let me just, from collection module, let me just import counter, and let me just also import default dict. Okay, OS is file system operations. Print, let me just print, and print os dot get cwd, and it's gonna give you the current directory, and files. For files, you just need to do is use os dot list, and let me just remove it from here. Okay, here you can get the list files. It is basically not collection, it is collections. Okay, you can see that the current directory is given here. Okay, and also the list files are given here. Okay, so you can just locate all these things using OS. And now let's just work with sys, and sys is interpreter info. Print, let me just print the sys version, sys dot version, and you can see that you will see here the Python version. Okay, let me just run, and you can see that Python version is given here. Okay, you can do a great deal of other things with it as well. Now let's talk about data time, which is about dates and times. If I want to print current date, okay, then all I have to do is use datetime dot now, and then all I have to use is print, and I'm gonna use now dot st. Okay, and this is going to give you in year, month, day, hour, and minute, and second. And if I print it, you can see here right now that it's 2026 5th month and 3rd day, and the timing is given, it's 10:48 and 32 seconds. Okay, now let's talk about the random module. Random, it's all about randomness. If you want to create random numbers, and it is really important, let me just create a variable nums and random dot sample. Okay, so let me just, the range I define is from 1 to 100. Okay, let me just make it small, from 1 to 50, and let me take the size as 6. Okay, and if I just do print nums and I run it, you can see that I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, because there's 6, and my range is 1 to 50, so all I get numbers in this range. You can also improve it, like if you want to just, and you're gonna get numbers in this range. Okay, random numbers. So it's very important, and it is used everywhere. This is very important. JSON, this is encode, this is used for encode, decode. Okay, and the most important thing about it is that the JSON module is used to work with JSON data, JavaScript object notation, and it converts Python objects to JSON and read JSON files, and also parse API responses. And let's just let me just give you a quick example. Okay, let me let's just write data. Let's call a variable data, and let me just uh, create a quick dictionary. Okay, name, and let's the name be Alice. Okay, and its age is going to be, let's say its age is 30. Okay, let me just encode it is equal to json.demps data, and let me just print encoded. You can see that it is displayed here. json.dumps converts Python object to JSON string, and json.loads convert JSON string to Python object. You need to remember that. Talk about the last modules, collections, and let me just create worlds. Okay, let's just create a list, and let's take some names up. Okay, cherry, and let's just repeat it, apple, and let's just banana, mango. Okay, it's enough, I guess. Now let's just print counter. Okay, counter worlds. Okay, and you can see that we have imported. If we go up, you can see here from collections we have import counter and default dict. Okay, now it's going to count it all for us. You can see that banana, the number of banana is 3, or banana is repeated 1 or 2, 3 times, and apple is repeated 2 times, and cherry 1, and mango 1 times. So these are all modules in Python and you don't need to install it. These are all built in. No pip install is needed. uh, OS for file systems is for interpreter access, data time for time, random for randomness, JSON for data serialization, collections for advanced data structures. Okay, now let's talk about third-party modules and pip. The Python package index hosts hundreds of thousands of third-party packages. .pip is the tool that pip is the tool that downloads and installs them. Virtual environments isolate project dependencies to avoid conflicts. Always use virtual environments per project. They prevent dependencies hell. Requirements that text is the standard way to share what packages a project needs, and request numpy and pandas are the most widely used third-party packages. So let's just quickly create a new project, and let's just create a new project, and I'm going to name it third-party modules and pip. Okay, first, and let's just clear it quickly. Okay, because we don't need it. So let's just quickly rename it and rename project. So I'm gonna call it third for third party or third party project modules and pip. Okay, so if you want to install a project a package, all you need to do is go to the terminal window, terminal commands, not Python code. Okay, so if I want to install uh, packages such as request, numpy and pandas, all I need to do is come here, terminal, and here I just have to write pip install, and I have to write the name of the packages. Okay, since I already installed them, so I don't need to install them. Okay, now most important thing that you need to know is that if you want to know how many packages are installed, so you have to come here, the terminal window, and here you just have to pip install, pip list, sorry. So you will see how many packages are installed here. So you can see that. Okay, I think these packages are not installed since I didn't get any details here. So let's just quickly install request. Okay, and now this package will be installed. Similarly, you can install pip install numpy and pandas. Okay, now let's just check how many packages are installed. Pip list, sorry. And you can see that numpy, pandas and request, all these packages are installed now. So we are ready to go and continue our programming now. Okay, so let's just, okay, it's fine this way. Okay, most important thing that you need to know is that sometimes you need when you are going to send your project to someone, he may ask the requirements. Okay, like how many packages are installed here. So for that you need to use this command pip freeze and requirements. dot txt. Okay, so this is for save dependencies. Okay, save deps. And all you have to do is just copy it and come to the terminal window and just put it here, and you can see that requirement.txt is just created here. Here you can see all the packages you have installed, numpy, pandas, request, and whatever else have installed, all are pasted here. Sometimes when you send a paper to someone or your project to someone, so he may need to know how many packages are installed, so this document is often needed. Okay, you may also want to know like how many modules or packages you have installed. Now let's come to the main file, and most importantly, if someone send you the package, the project, okay, and it doesn't run on your computer, and you may not know how many packages are installed here. Okay, so if you want to install all the packages when someone send you their project, and you want to run it on your computer, and you want to install all the packages in the project, all you need to do is just pip install and requirements.txt. You just have to paste it in the terminal, and all the packages of the project will be automatically installed. What it does, it restore devs for you. Okay, now let's just do some work. Import, I'm gonna import the module, the package, and this package is usually used for http request. Okay, so let's just create a variable name response, and okay, you don't need it, so let's just save a variable response, and let's just get the data from GitHub, https api.github.com. Okay, so when you want to get data from GitHub, so all you have to do is friend response dot status dot code. Okay, and let it assign a value of 200, and let's just call another variable. Okay, the data or the information from GitHub is usually in JSON form, so we need to convert it to Python. Now you just have to print data, and we are interested in what the current user URL. Like there are many information, and you just want to pick the current user URL, and you just have to run it. This is git, not git. Now you can see that information is displayed on the screen, and you just run a response to GitHub to provide you the information, the data. Now if you import the module, import numpy is np. Okay, and you just assign a variable a name np dot np dot array. Okay, you just create this list of numbers. Now if you want to print the mean, print the mean, okay, mean of this data, all you need to do is insert np.mean_array. Okay, and you can see that when you run it, you can see the output here. Mean is 5. You can also print median. Okay, you can also print minimum, and you can also print maximum, and whatever you want to. You can also print standard deviation. Okay, and when I run it, you can see all the information displayed here. Standard deviation minimum is 1 and maximum is 9, and all these are displayed below. Median, mean, and now let's come to the package pandas as pd, and let's assign a variable pd dot, let's say data frame, pd dot or data frame, and let me just create a dictionary. And you know that a dictionary is a name, a key, and the key has values. Okay, so let's the name be a list. Let's say a list, and let's just add some other names, Alice and Bob. Okay, 2 names are enough, and after that you need to have a value. So let's say that I assign the score of these names. So let the score be in the form of a list. Let's say 80, 90. Okay, you need to remember that dictionary is always in the curly brackets, so don't forget that. And now when you run it, you will see that the name Alice has score 88 and Bob is score 98, and it will be in the form of a table. Now let me just print dp, and you will see that the output is displayed here on the screen. Alice has 98, 88, and Bob is 90. So that fundas is usually used for tables. Numpy is for numerical calculations, so you need to remember these things. Okay, and there is one more thing which is very important, and it's about virtual environment. To create a virtual environment is to have packages that do not disturb all of your computer, packages that are just specific for this this specific project. So to do that, all you need to do is just use python /m veno and my env. Okay, you just have to copy it, and this is for virtual, this is for what, virtual environment, virtual environment setup, and you just have to paste it here in the terminal. Come to the terminal and paste it, and you can see that here importer is created for you. Okay, so for Macs and Linux we have another code. We can type this code for Linux, and Mac source my bin activate. Similarly, you can do it for Windows. My environment, and this is / scripts and activate. This is for window. And this is for Mac and Linux. Now if you want to create your virtual environment setup, all you have to do is copy it and come to the terminal and paste it here. And you can see here that my environment is created here, and the packages are just customized for it, used for this only specific project. Now let me teach you something else which are very important, and let's call it module search path and sys.path. Okay, so let's just come here, let's cover it here and let's come down. Okay, now imagine you lost your keys. You search in order, first your pocket, then the table, then the drawer, then the whole house. Python does the exact same thing when you write import module, import math or whatever. It searches a list of folders one by one until it finds the module. The list of folders Python searches is called sys.path. It is just a Python list of folders paths. Python goes through them left to right and uses the first search it finds. Now let me just Python goes through when you import, when Python goes through the current script folder, Python path folders, standard library folders, and side packages. These are 4 things that Python goes through. So when you import sys, okay, so your Python searches for these 4 things. Okay, now let's just print sys.path, and you can see all the paths here. You can see that the paths are given here, project 3 and different paths are given here. It is not clear, so let me just print the full path for you. Okay, but since if you want to print in one line, which is easier to read, then all you have to do is create a loop for path in sys.path, print path, and you can see now that It will look clear now. You can see that. Okay, you should remember one thing, that a Python searches all folders in sys.path and finds nothing. It raises an import error. And you can see here that my prompt project, Python project 3 or something. This is the folder, the thing that I'm currently working on. And at the end you will see some packages, and try it yourself and you will find out. Now if I want to import a module, okay, let's say that I want to import a module, and I want to import a module, okay, from another, let's say that standard library modules, new window. Okay, let's just come here and let's find something that is a little bit interesting. Okay, now if I want to import this module, which is not in the project I'm working on, it is in another folder. And if I want to import this module, utils, utils, okay, to the folder I'm currently working on. So all I have to do is import. Now okay, now if I run it, you can see that I will get an error. Okay, now if I call the function, let's see what function it is. It is a function format name. Okay, now let me just copy it. And let me just paste it here. Print dot format name. And let me just put something here. Okay, whatever you want to put it. I just want to show you that it will give me an error that the module is not defined. Okay, it will show you that the module is not defined. You can see here that module has no attribute format name or something else, attribute error. Now if I want to import this module, all I have to do is now to add your custom folder at position first. Here 0 means search first. All you have to do is go to sys.path.append, and here you have to start from 0 and put. Now here you have to copy the path. Okay, so I have to come here to the project and I have to click on this, copy, and here I have to put Control Shift and S, and then I come here back and put it here. Make sure that you change it, write it like this. Okay, and because in Python we don't use the other notation. Now you can import the module in that folder. It is insert, not append, sorry. We use append to add the end folder, like, so we have to use insert here. Now you can import the module. But since you can see that Python project, this is a whole module because it is the file. Let me just show it to you, init.py. So I told you that whenever a folder has init.py, then the whole folder is treated as a module. So instead of importing utilities.py, I will import the project name, which is Python project 1, which is an Python project. So we have copied the path. Now I will just import the whole project, and the whole project is the whole name of the project, which is Python project 1. So I'm going to paste here, import Python project 1, and here I will just Python project 1. And now you can see that it is displayed Han boy. And if you come here, you can see that the main file format name is imported from the module utilities.py. Now if you want to if you want to import from this, not from the folder, okay, which is treated as a module, then if you want to import from here or here, then you will have to write the name of the module. Now for the sake of your understanding, let me just import this module, and its name is new. So let me just import it, and let's just import new, and just print new dot square root of 25, and now you can see that we will get 5, and all these square root and all these are already imported here. So we just have to import the name of the module and just add do whatever we want to do. Hello, welcome back. Now let's talk about modules, attributes, and introspection. Let me quickly rename it, and module, attributes, and introspection. Let's import the module, math. Okay, this loads Python's built-in math module into memory. A module, as I mentioned several times, is simply a file containing Python code such as functions, variables, constants, classes. The math module contains mathematical function, constants, and so many other things, is math dot square root, math dot sine function, math dot phi. If you don't import the module, and if you write, if you're going to find the square root of a number, it will not work. It will give you an error, and I want you to try that. Let's discuss special module attributes. You can check it for any module that you import. Okay, now I am importing the module math, so I'm going to check, I'm going to see, observe, understand the special module attributes for the module math. Every module in Python automatically gets a special attribute called name. Let me just quickly write it for you. Print math dot name. Now if I run it, you could see that I get the name of the module. So what does it does? If you're gonna write, when you write slash name with the module, you're gonna get the name of the module, which is math. Now if you want to access module documentation, all you need to do is French math.doc. Okay, and if you are interested, then slice it. This module provides access to the mathematical. Every module function class can contain documentation. Python stores it in dot /doc /hyphen. It returns a long string describing the module, and this is slicing. We call it slicing, and we already discussed it in list. It gives the character from index 0 to 49. So this prints only the first 50 characters. Without slicing, the full documentation would be print, and it will be too long. Now if I run it, you can see that this module provides access to the mathematical function. Now if you want to access to the path, the place where the module is, all you need to do is friend and math dot file. Now you can see that you get this error because math is a built-in module. It doesn't have the py at the end. So for this function, for this to work, you need to have a module which has the py at the end. So let me just quickly create a new module. Okay, gh, let's call it gh. Okay, let's just quickly write something here. Print x. Okay, now let me just import that module. Import gh. Okay, the module has been imported. Now if it has to work, let me just write gh here, and now let me run. Now you could see that the path of the module is being generated. It is produced here. Okay, so you can use this, and it is quite fun because sometimes you need to find the path of the module. You can also do it with other methods. You can copy the path from here, but this is just for understanding. Now let me show you something else. print and dir. Okay, it has to be inside print dir math, and let me slice it. Slice 0 to 8. So dir, it lists all attributes inside an object for modules, function, constants, metadata, and so much. Now you can see that if I run it, you could see everything is from 0 to 8, the index given has been displayed. And we need the slicing because to avoid printing hundreds of items, so that's why only the first 8 are shown. And you can also use this function health, can use it, and it will show you full documentation. Shows full documentation. I'll just type for you and just try it for yourself. And all controls what gets imported when using, so you also need to keep it in your mind. You can also use VARS friend. It returns the namespace of an object is a dictionary. So let me show you print and list and then VARS math dot items, and we also need to slice it so we don't get a huge output. Run it, you can see below that it is in the form of a dictionary, and items returns a special view object, and convert to list makes it easier to display, and the slice is used to avoid huge output. So now a namespace is basically a mapping of names to objects. Now has attribute checks if attribute exists or not. This is also very interesting. Check if attribute exists before using it. If attribute math, let's say tau. Okay, now let me just print it. Print method tau, but let me just also put it in clone so that it looks clean and neat. Okay, and let's just run it to see. You can see that tau is 6.283. These are all modules, attributes, and introspection. And it is very useful to avoid crashes. And sometimes, if attribute doesn't exist, you may get an error. So some mathematicians prefer T over pi because full circle is, pi radian, something like that. Cleaner formulas. Math.tau is a constant stored in module like math.pi, math.e, and so many others. There is one last attribute that I want to discuss with you. That is get attribute, and it dynamically retrieves attributes, and it is also very interesting. Let me just quickly write it for you. Let me just write a variable and get attribute. Okay, inside let me just write imaginary constant, and let me just put it not found. Now print. Okay, since the default module doesn't have the attribute imaginary constant, so what we are gonna get not found. You can see here not found. Okay, but if it has uh, an attribute named imaginary constant, then output will be displayed. So instead of crashing with attribute error, Python returns the fallback value not found. And it is the structure. You need to remember the structure for it. Get attribute. Okay, it is an object. It is a name, and it is a default. Okay, now let me just give you quickly another example. Friend. Okay, and get attribute phi and not found. Now if the value if the value of pi exists, okay, if it is a part of the math module, then the value of phi will be displayed. But if phi is not a part of the module math, then it will not be displayed. Okay, you will get not found. But if the value exists, you will get the value of pi. So you can see that pi exists, so 3.14. But in the upper case, we don't have such a thing as imaginary constant in the module, so we get the output not found. Now if I change it to okay, let me just copy it. Let me just change the name. Okay, now you can see that you'll get print. I forget the p. Now you can see that not found. So I hope it is clear. Let's discuss importlib. It is a special Python module used for dynamic importing. It allows importing modules using strings and variables. So let's import lib. Now let's import the module time, which is used for measuring execution time and benchmarking. So now let's import time, which is used for measuring execution time and benchmarking. Import time. Frif counter gives a very high precision timer. We store the time before importing. Frif counter gives a very high precision timer. We store the time before importing, so let's save it. Start time, which is time dot brief counter. Now let's import JSON module, which is a standard import. Python loads the JSON module into memory. So let's import JSON. And now let's save stored time after import. So end is equal to time dot. Now let's calculate total time loading. End and start give seconds, and if you want to convert to milliseconds, then we are going to multiply it with 1000. Okay, so print f string json loaded in, and let's just enter end and start, and let me just multiply it with 1000, multiply it with 1000, and I want it in 3f, not 2f, and it's not in seconds, so it's going to be millisecond. Now if I run it, you can see that here below that json loaded in 0.002 millisecond. What happens during import? What Python does when Python imports a module, it searches for the module, loads the file, executes module code, creates a module object, stores it in memory, caches it in sys.modules, which we discussed in previous videos. Now let's talk about dynamic import. Dynamic dynamic import. Instead of hard coding import math, we start module name in a variable. So let me just name a module name, and let me just save it as math. Okay, usually we import it as import math, but I named the module as module name, and this module name stored a string. You need to remember that import live dot import module. What it does, it imports a module dynamically using a string. So let me just write quickly math. Okay, and it's already here. So what we did here, we import the module dynamically. Now we can use the module normally. Okay, so print, and let's just find the square root of 16 math dot qrt 16, and is equal to, put a comma in math square dot 16. One thing more that you need to put comma here. Now let's run the code, and you can see that math dot square root 16 is equal to 4. So we didn't import the module import math. We usually import it this way, but through dynamic importing we can name the module with a variable, and still we can get the output. Dynamic imports are useful for plugin systems, frameworks, optional features, configuration based apps, AI systems, loading extensions at runtime. Okay, now let's talk about practical Python modules. and let's import lib, and it is used for advanced import tools as discussed previously. And now let's also import a Python built-in math module. Import math. Now let's reload a module again into memory, and it is useful in Jupyter and after changes, in other windows. So this command is very crucial. Import lib dot reload, and I'm gonna put math here. Okay, and sometimes Python loads the old version, and the module you are working on is updated. So sometimes you need to force it to reload uh, the updated module. So that's why we need to use the reload, and here to print it this way. Now it depends which module you are using. Okay, so this is just for the sake of understanding. Okay, print reloaded, and our module math, and let's say name. To put the comma here, you have to put the comma here. Now you can see that the updated version is uploaded. Usually it's about the module that you're working on, and there are a lot of things going on in Python. Just keeps reloading the old module, the old version, and you have added new work into your module, and you have to force the module, so update to the new modules need to be reloaded. So for that you need to use that function. Now how can you error handle? So function with error handling. Okay, let me define a function. Divide. You can name it whatever you want to, that is not important. And let me just add it in strings, docstring. Okay, it's good this way. So divide a by b, and we just remove the rest that is not needed. That is a clear comment for you. Okay, so that you understand it. Now you know that division by 0 is not possible, so we need to prevent division by 0. For that I need to add the condition if b is equal to 0, then raise value error. Division by 0 is not possible, is not allowed or not possible. Okay, and then you have to just include return ab. Now I define the function, and we know that division by 0 is not possible in mathematics, so that is not allowed. We need to understand that. So let me just type it here for you again for the sake of understanding. If p is equal to 0, that you need to just keep it in your head. You need to just keep repeating it, do it again and again, so that division by 0 not possible, so that you get familiar with it. It is all by doing, not by looking. Obviously you have to look, you have to watch, but you also have to practice, and this is how you are going to understand it. Now let me just add something else here. And this code, the following code, executes only if file is executed directly. So this file will not be imported and it will not run in another window. Okay, so if name is equal to main, so let me just print the testing time, the running test. Just print it for you. New line and running test code. Okay, and in normal case, what happens in normal case? Okay, if there is no zero in the division, the denominator divides 10 by 2. Okay, divide. Okay, let me just add a comment here. Okay, divide 2 by 3. Okay, just let me just make it a little bit clean so it doesn't look bad. Okay, let me just run it. You can see that it is fine. And let's just try the error case. So it is interesting. Error case. This is, let's try. Okay, print and 3 by, let's say 0, and let me just make it 0. Okay, so let's just our value error is, let's say value error is E. Okay, so it's gonna stop Python from crashing even if it is an error. So print and let's say error and E. You can see here the division by 0 not allowed, so this is print here. Okay,